Walk with me.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Welcome to Walk With Me. I am Brother Blyden. Today, we're going to talk about the different translations of the Bible. Let's get right into it, shall we? Bible translations. Why so many translations, you may ask? You have the English language, which is evolving, differences in manuscript philosophy, differences in translation philosophy, and the Bible sales can be a lucrative market. Unfortunately, I don't like that one. Examples of changes in English. Mean versus unknown. Suffer versus permit. Conversation versus conduct. Prevent versus proceed. Less versus restrains. Differences in manuscript philosophy. Received text by Textus Receptus, King James Version, NKJV Version, excuse me. Alexandrian Textual Tradition, Critical Text, Westcott Hort. Then you have all these different translations. Now I've always had the King James Version, but I've always found it very difficult to understand. And that's because the English is so old and it's changed so much or evolved that I never really understood a lot of it, and I would get frustrated. So I think I now have the English version now. Majority, how do I go back there? Majority textual tradition based on consensus of majority of Greek texts, similar to received text. I can't really see that. Differences in translations philosophy. Word for word, you have the different versions. Taught for taught, paraphrase. And so if you look at the different translations here, word for word versus taught for thought, you can see the differences here. And the 5 leading Bible translations: ESV, word for word, yes. Based on the earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, yes. Published year 2001. So that's the version that I have right now, that I find I can understand a lot clearer. Then you have the NLT, word for word, no. Which I myself don't want a Bible that's not word for word. If they change it, and if it's not word for word, I do not want that version of the Bible, because I don't know why they changed it, or if it's accurate. So I want word for word. So I would not use the NLT version. Based on earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, yes. And that was published in 1995. And it's old anyway. But that's a version I would stay away from. Then you have the New King James Version. Word for word, yes. Based on the earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, no. So again, that's one I would stay away from. And it was published in 1983. If it does not have yes across the board on both, I do not want it. Then you have the NIV, no word for word, and no for based on earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscripts. That was published in 1978. And I'm surprised with the King James Version. Word for word I always knew, but I did not know it was not based on the earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscript. It's a no on that one. And no wonder I can't understand the language. It's 1611. But I'm glad that I now have a word for word and based on the earliest Greek and Hebrew manuscripts in the ESV version. So, what else? Do we have anything? That's it, folks. That's the end of this one. So it's up to you, but I myself, I want the Bible that's word for word and based on the earliest teaching of Greek and Hebrew. So that's just my take on that. That's all we have for today, folks.